Welcome, everyone. Tonight we have a pretty awesome Owlet match between TBA and Penten Visirion. I'm joined today by fellow directors Direboyd in production and
Traveling to
telrek
Nepal.
here in the booth with me.
Ooh, the booth's heating up as we're loading into our first map of the night. It's going to be Nepal, the same as the rest of the weekend has been. And excited to see how this match is going to play out here. We've got Penten Visirion towards the bottom of the standings, and we've got TBA kind of towards the top here. And I'm curious to see what kind of upsets we might be seeing. Potential's always there in Overwatch.
Right. And the one thing I've really enjoyed about minors this season is that, it just feels like good competition. It never really feels like a real stomp. It always just feels like all the teams have an equal shot at getting the win. So I don't doubt for a second that this could be a close match.
Heck yeah, completely agree with that. Love seeing a lot of these minors matches always coming down to the wire, and a lot of game fives that we've been seeing too. So, I mean, very curious to see how it plays out here. I know we've got very strong Reaper players on both sides. I know Nihao, being
Right.
a Season 1 veteran, really showcased that a lot in the previous year. And Reaper's only gotten stronger since then, so why not play him even more, right?
Yeah, and I think, I've gotten to cast a lot of Nihao Brian for one reason or another, and I always enjoy watching his Reaper, and I think, like you said, with the buffs, it'll be really interesting. And I think that with teams sort of in that mid elo bracket that we're seeing here, Reaper's a little bit more dominant than he would be higher on the ladder.
We're going to get ourselves into the first fight as Penten Visirion takes over the point control early. We have the Pharah flanking on the side with Winston and Mercy all going in, but it seems that PV's keeping themselves pretty strong on the point here, getting themselves early capture point progress, almost fully capped it, already getting themselves a percentage without anyone dying as of yet, even though the fight's still going on pretty strong.
Yeah, and I think that was the right move by Penten. They've got a pretty close range team using the main, the Reaper, so making them come to point where stuff is the goal.
And a super fast nano already coming out, getting slapped into the May, and a barrier drop coming out as well, just making sure they don't lose this point right now. They've got some people up in lives, and it looks like still this fight is just never ending. None of the healers going down. And
we were just saying it could be a really even fight, and that's what it's showing right now.
Yeah, this is crazy. Nihao Brian getting slipped and frozen, but the ults just keep coming out left and right. No one's really taking full advantage of this fight as people just keep getting traded back and forth. PV still holding pretty strong, but they're starting to get down in numbers, but more ults back to back to back.
I think you need to start asking yourself if your TBA is it worth it to keep fighting this instead of backing out and regrouping. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, as you say that, they decide, you know what, this is the time that we need to start regrouping. They've got 57%, already halfway there, not so bad. But, I mean, these ults just kind of getting online and then getting fired rapidly. So we'll see with the Shatter and the Blossom coming up, and even the Nano on PV side. Oh, wait a second. Nope, that's going to get canceled out right away with a trade going out either way, though.
Yeah, it's a good stall. It's hard to push without a main tank, so PV's definitely gonna have to take it slow here.
Yeah, they probably should go back a little bit. They're down a player compared to TBA right now, and yep, they're waiting for the regroup. Very wise, very smart. And they still have the same amount of ultimates, whereas TBA already used up the barrage. So we'll see what they can get in this push here. So
yeah, they'll definitely be curious to see because we are seeing the ult advantage here, so...
Shatter getting only the Diva mech, and it's going to prompt out the Mercy ult, trying to see what else they can get going on here, and they're committing a lot of ults to this on the side of PV. Getting themselves the kills, though. They got 3, 4, and...
Yeah, that was a really strong take.
Yeah, very nice. It's going to be kind of hard to see what they're trying to do with this Pharah. They don't really have much on the side of Penten Visirion to really deal with it besides the Diva. But
I don't think it's been an overwhelming issue. She's, the Pharah's had her moments, but it hasn't been oppressive by any means.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely agree with that. And Hephaestus giving the Pharah a little bother, just jumping in with the mech, being a little nuisance. We're gonna see what the opposing Diva and Petticoat Pirate does, with Nihao also following up that Diva Bomb with his own little Blossom.
Yeah, and this was, you know, the push that TBA needed here. 2 quick picks. It was a high investment though.
Yeah, they're spending a lot, but they got it. They already got it to 93 on Penten's side. And a little bit more cleanup. Can they get it before it's C? And they do, alright. So it's coming down a lot here.
Yeah, but I feel like that was a really high cost fight. They've only got the 1 ult left in the Farah Barrage. Probably looking at Valk as well, but I don't know, was it too much, do you think?
I mean, at that point, it's either you die with the ult or you use them, right? I mean, you want to try to save some for the next fight also, but...
They were already up too.
Yeah, true. It's kind of hard. You know, you get into the adrenaline pumping, you got the kills going, you want to just see them all get murdered. And we're seeing a nice follow-up here. The Barrage doing a lot of work this time.
That was very high value.
Yeah, for sure. And they're going to be able to get this pretty much locked away at this point with only the Lucio left to stall and a baby Diva. Not long for this world.
Yeah, just like what we thought. You know, it came down right to it, 98 to 99.
Yeah, right?
I think that this is going to be a really exciting match.
It's already starting out pretty strong, and super excited to see this. I don't know. Nepal can go either way, especially when it comes to... Depends on what map we get next. If we get Sanctum, yeah, this one's going to be a doozy. Seeing how many boops we can get can really turn a fight in an instant.
Yeah, it's the best part, I think, of these maps with the pits and the kind of the environmental areas. Because then you also get to see some support shine and some heroes that otherwise wouldn't get that those opportunities to make big plays.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like we're not going to get too much boopage coming out in terms of general team comps here, with Surfy being the only Orisa and TBA opting for more of a death volley type thing that we got going.
Well, this is Surfy's bread and butter. Going back to when I first met him back in the Scrub Cup tournament. It's always been an Orisa main.
All right, you're really showing your age here. I don't know. But getting the early pick on Hephaestus, kind of trading it back already. Yeah. Tank for support.
Good rotation.
Yeah, the Lucio speed boost really doing them wonders right now.
They were just not ready for it. The whole team was set up as if they were going to take the normal route.
No, but a huge anti coming out from Falter Zana. Let's see what they can do in there. Kind of in a little death trap. Falter falling off accidentally. But it seems like PB has a pretty good chokehold on this.
I definitely thought that was TBA's fight to win. Wow, I can't believe that Penten Visirion was able to just come in and take that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. I know that anti proved to be pretty big, but Telrek kind of just walking in and just taking control.
Right. Always got to keep an eye on that Reaper.
Yeah, dude, Reaper just shreds tanks, especially if you don't know he's there and he's just clocking away. Oh man, that damage adds up fast.
Especially, was it now that it's like a 50% heal?
Yeah, nutty. But we're going to see TBA going in again, taking advantage of them being kind of basically a weird kind of goats.
Yeah, and they're trying the same thing out, so hopefully if it goes a little bit better for him here and they're able to take a full cap, because it was a good rotation.
Oh, but they swarm all over Surfy, getting him down almost immediately. Eli throwing up the... Oh wow, yeah, ult's coming out left and right. Going to some really good effect from the DPS side here of Penten.
Yeah, for sure. They've been doing a lot of work to keep this point. And to take the point, if I remember correctly, it was those two. Spoke too soon.
Oh snap, this Reaper doing it solo. He's trying his best, but it's 3v1. Yeah, Reaper's not that strong nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Hasty Shatter gets...
Oh man, in and out. See you later.
But he gets killed by himself somehow? Could have sworn
that...
he
got booped.
Yeah, I thought that would have been a boop kill. It is what it is, I suppose. Pretty ambitious there from the Martyr Barter with that early
TBA
shot.
is going to have to get back together and, figure something out quickly. They're going to have the Grav, but, with not much time, this is going to be the last fight, so they're going to have to hope it's enough. Barrier is going to be online as well.
Definitely going to have to hustle here, and they're going to take advantage of this. Oh, but another huge anti getting at least 3 people on the team. The Grav hitting no one in particular.
Oh my god, Festus.
Oh my goodness, Festus with the bestest right there all of a sudden. Really turning the tide here. With only the 3 supports
left.
A
nano and the anti, Jesus.
You gotta do it, right?
It's a big sleep too. Too bad there wasn't much able to follow up on that.
Yeah, speaking of sleeps, Falter's having himself a crazy Ana game. Not only is he landing these big grenades, but he's kind of just not being contested in the backline at all.
Yeah.
1-1.
Not only that, I mean, the positioning, very smart coming out from Falter, and I think Eli also kind of just doing his own thing off to the wayside.
Right, and you know that was a little bit more one-sided than Shrine was. So you know, is this Penten Visirion sort of making a statement saying that you know maybe it's not going to be as close as we thought here. It just didn't seem like TBA really had the organization in that round.
No, I mean, they had a game plan because they stayed together, super tight-knit, and they took advantage of that speed boost, but I guess once they got kind of into the thick of things, they might have lost track of what they're targeting, or I'm not really sure. But
Right, it's super easy to tunnel vision.
yeah, the team cohesion's there, and I think we'll be able to see that even more on this point, where they don't have to worry about falling off. As the fight already getting
Right.
here, kind of just spouting back and forth. Celery not having the shade anymore for the Reaper, and they're just kind of tickling each other right around this little center point here, trying to see who's going to be the first to falter. Not the Ana.
Right, losing the Diva mech early on I think is a big disadvantage because the defense matrix has so much value.
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure. But it looks pretty even so far with Eli kind of doing work on this McCree, doing his own thing. And the Nano coming out on Surfy, trying to make sure that they don't lose their presence.
Right,
on the
yeah,
line if they're getting pushed back.
It's just been back and forth. This whole match, or fights in this match, have been just a complete seesaw.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of aggression coming out from TBA's side, seemingly having the point, and even maybe some point presence. But I think that Nano really was able to turn the tides.
Right.
Getting that D mech early was very unfortunate on their side. But they've got a lot of ult charge built up on the side of TBA. And
Yeah, they should be able to make something happen here. You know, the Fair's got to be careful if that's what they're looking for here, just because you know, McCrees are known to sort of ruin a Fair's day.
Yeah, especially in these tight-knit quarters on this point like this. And as you call it, yeah, the McCree giving Fair the business there. And TBA still going to regrets though, pushing way forward, taking advantage of their really good positioning. Getting rid of the backline in the fight, leaving only the tanks and a Reaper on point. So it looks like they might be able to clean this up, especially with the D-Mech on Hephaestus, who's just going to beeline it right off the map.
Right.
Sharp Shot not giving them the chance though.
It was another sort of chaotic fight. It seemed like there were a bunch of mini skirmishes happening instead of one large team fight, and it was just very interesting to sort of click around and watch each individual fight happening.
Yeah, but TBA using that to their advantage, being able to separate the supports, and with a little, almost getting that cheeky little shot in there, but not getting anyone down for it. Although TBA still pushing the advantage, getting themselves another kill, and they're upping people right now. So what else they can do with that?
Penton's gonna have to back out and regroup here. There's no reason to keep pushing this. You still have plenty of time, so you may as well use it to sort of regroup and figure it out. They've got all their ults online, so they should be looking at taking this.
Yeah, we'll see what order they use it in too. Are they going to just blow everything at once, or are they going to try
Right, you
to
gotta be careful about that.
Because you do want to worry about the next fight. First, not a bad choice. Kind of separating TBA out a little bit, and then we're going to take advantage of that with the Shatter. Then Eli being able to take out the Diva. A lot of chaos going on point, enough to really separate TBA from their tight-knit quarters that they like to operate in, and that gives them the point on the team kill.
Yeah, well, it was 5 ults.
Oh yeah, look at
5
that.
ults there.
Yeah, but hey, it paid off. I mean,
Yep, yeah, I mean, a win's a win.
Yeah.
But now, you know, you do sort of have to worry about. I mean, they might be able to get the Reinhardt ult, but they're definitely gonna have the Winston ult and probably the Reaper ult on the side of TBA.
Yeah, you gotta think about the next day after you use all these ultimates. But I mean, having the Reaper's gonna be a good one to have. If you can demech the Diva, you're looking really good. And we're gonna see what's happening as Celery just kind of sits in the corner looking for his opportunity, I think.
Yeah, yep.
Yep, he was looking for it, eyeing it the whole way up. And that gives them a nice advantage going into the end of this map here, potentially.
Yeah. It's really going to be one fight, so TBA is really going to kind of have to rush to get on there.
Nice sleep. We saw that coming. Kind of got a little telegraphed there when you just kind of shade in there. But I mean, at this
Right.
point, you kind of have to, right? You're losing time, and you've got to just get all your cards on the table before you can't put them out. Really big stagger mode right now for TBA. It looks
Yeah.
like it's probably going to be.
This
a
should
wrap
probably
on that
do
map.
it here.
Yep, but
You know,
62% to 99. It was pretty close, I think.
right. And I think if there were a little bit more time on the clock, if TBA had another chance to maybe regroup and go after a full fight, maybe they could have taken it. They were coming onto a stronger ult economy, so they could have kind of worked that into their favor. But I think time was just against them here. Props to Penten too for being able to use their ult sort of wisely in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely played out in their favor there, and the proof's in the scoreboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Benson leading the series 1-0 after that first map on Nepal.
Yeah, and I think that's really important in sort of any competition, whether in Overwatch or any game really. If you can establish the momentum, it's something you can really sort of ride to a win.
Yeah, I mean, starting off on a high note, especially when you're considered maybe the underdog in this matchup based on
Right.
your standings at least.
Right.
It's really
Sort of have a
good
chip on your shoulder, yeah.
For sure. But then again, maybe TBA isn't super comfortable on these control points.
Right, and that's sort of the glory of having a game like Overwatch, where it's so many different game modes and so many different kind of maps and different factors that can contribute to a win or a loss. So hopefully we get to see the full spectrum of talent.
Yeah, and with our next map being Route 66, this map leads to being able to play a lot of different compositions, whether you want to do like double snipers with dive, or if you want to do some death volley type things.
Yeah.
I don't know if we do goats down here, but like there's a lot on the table that might be showcased here for us.
Right. I mean, you knowing me, I think you can guess which comp I want to see. I want to see some dive.
Yep.
I love a good coordinated sort of attack. I think that when it's pulled off well, it's like poetry. So hopefully we get to see a lot of dive and no goats.
Yeah, I mean, we get enough goats from Owl.
Yeah.
And it's really, like you said, it's a really nice dance that people do when they're able to coordinate a nice looking dive.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to see someone get blown up just from a nice little combo, whether it's the Winston and the Diva going at the same time, or even if you want to complement that with like a Genji also following up, the reset get out, it could really be a thing of beauty.
Right. And this also another, maybe not the greatest Pharah map, but another sort of area where you could see a Pharah at this level of play. And I always think that if in the right conditions, a Pharah can be so hard to beat if they utilize cover well. So yeah. I always like seeing Pharahs as well here.
Pharahs, especially I feel like in the lower elos, can really cause a lot of havoc because it's just very hard to deal with someone so far away.
Right.
And especially with the Mercy pocket, and not as strong as it used to be, but it still can definitely do a lot of work.
Right.
And we're gonna probably see it. I think Sharpshot has a really good Pharah. He plays it a lot. Also a season 1 veteran, and also one that really liked showcasing the Pharah in the beginning too.
Yeah, and I think that so far we've seen some really strong performances out of the DPS on both sides. I guess it's really kind of the product of having a character like Reaper that can heal himself and output massive damage. But I think the Reaper battles have been really, really interesting and fun to watch.
Yeah, and we honestly might even see more here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different flanks that a Reaper can take to take advantage of the little sneaky snake that he is. And I'm curious to see it. I'm really excited to see a payload map.
Do you think that either team attempts that sort of that aggressive defense in the train carts?
I don't.
So I know that's become sort of prevalent at the top level of play, and I've always sort of wondered how it would transition, sort of down the ladder.
What are you saying, like up here by the payload?
Right. Yeah.
Really? Wow, that is actually really aggressive. No, I honestly haven't even seen that myself, but Seems like a big risk. Although, I mean, if you do take a fight early and let's say you get wiped, right? The payload's not going to move super far.
Right.
You'd be able to
This
sacrifice
is
quite a
this
lot.
is one of those maps where you can end up moving it an embarrassingly short distance.
Yeah, and
It's
curiously enough, we're going to see a Bastion coming out
well,
from Penten.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Speaking of aggressive, of also to couple it with a Symmetra, which is very
yeah.
curious.
You know, but again, this is one of those things that it can just be so hard to break. It's it's one of those things that after you fail the first one or two pushes, it just becomes even too demoralizing. That you know, even if it could be a simple sort of maneuver to break it, it's just the mental aspect of not being able to that ends up costing you the match.
I can definitely see that Bastion's a pretty tilting character for sure. And with the composition that we're seeing from TBA, it's going to be really difficult to get to him.
They're gonna have to close a lot of distance.
Yep. Then, luckily for Penten Visirion's side, you can contest the payload from the lip of the gas station, so you don't even need to jump down. It's really TBA's assertion.
It's on them, yeah.
We gotta figure something out here. But so far, so good. The Ryan shield going down early, so there's no protection. But here we go. They're gonna stall it from on top of the.
And the longer that TBA waits here, it's a win for Penten Visirion. It's just time off the clock.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's like no one to contest. Roadhog coming down might have been a really big lapse in judgment as he's getting very little support here, and he's gonna get picked off by the rolling death that is TBA right now.
Right, and it's maybe not what you wanted out of the Roadhog. They had a seemingly good defense, but now it's starting to go in the way of TBA. They were able to sort of break it and get the Bastion up, which is what you want to see here. Get them out of that turret mode.
Yeah, absolutely. But those, speaking of turrets, the Symmetra turret is melting sharp shot right off the top of the gas station there. But the payload making some really steady progress right now. Although Penten Visirion is getting their reinforcements and they're ready to give themselves a really good contest here on the cart.
Right, yeah, I was starting to wonder if when they were gonna jump down to make this contest.
Yeah, and Teller's
but it seems like they,
all apart. Yeah, the Ryan shield went down super early, and there's nothing to hide behind besides the payload. And Roadhog's all over that payload, making sure that no one is able to hide.
Right, and you know that's sort of the frustration with the Bastion, right? You know, TBA had seemingly won the fight. You know, I don't want to say that they could have gotten it all the way, they didn't, but you know, letting the Bastion set up is going to be the downfall almost every time. You got to keep your eye on them.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be tough to see what they do now. I mean, they don't have a payload to hide behind or to heal with, so they're going to have to kind of skirt around maybe the backside as they're doing so to see if they can rush up the stairs and delodge this Bastion. I don't know. He's ready and is getting the works. Although looks like TBA is ready to stand up to the challenge as Celery gets a Cinco kill. I don't even know
Massive kill, yeah.
Wow, well done. Yep, they were super prepared for that, and they only were able to use 3 out of their 6 ultis with a little bit more to
Yeah, and that's you know, that's not bad. I feel like the 2 support ults, you know, don't charge super slowly, so they could, you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they get them back up towards the end of this fight.
Yeah, especially the Mercy and the damage boost is just going to skyrocket if they're not going to be able to do much with this Bastion here. And it looks like they're taking a different route this time, going underneath the gas station, getting themselves that natural cover. And Bastion's nose peeking out a little bit, but another
huge anti.
And it's not going to be super accompanied by that. Oh, a lot of stuff going on here. Hold on a second. The beat drop coming down.
Oh no!
Ooh, unlucky there. It looks like this is TBA's point to take as they've got the whole team up and ready to rock.
A couple of misplays there from Penten Visirion. I think that, you know, they sort of failed to capitalize on the play they made, and then they end up losing the point.
Yeah, Falter with another really good nade, getting 3 of them, and also proccing out the whatever it's called, the Zenyatta Ultimate Transcendence.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, into the purple, which just ended up falling flat.
And you know what? Well, they have another opportunity here. This is another sort of that high ground advantage for the Bastion. It's going to make it really difficult again for TBA to make the push here.
Yeah, they're going to have a tough time, especially with the interesting play that they have Symmetra doing, just melting down the Rhine Shield, giving that Bastion just a free reign to just fire on top of the whole team.
Right, and you know, when I first saw it, I really thought that they were maybe not get rolled, but I thought that it wouldn't be as strong as what we're seeing here. I think that, you know, they're really playing this comp to almost its full effectiveness.
Yeah, it's definitely doing themselves a big favor. They killed a bunch of time on that first push. Only 2 minutes left on the second half of this, and this is pretty hard to get past, I would say.
Yeah, and I think Bastion really punishes teams that can't be super coordinated in their attack on him, because the whole goal has to be to get him up and moving.
Yep, and that is a really nice couple of ultimates right there, making sure the Bastion stays dead. He's not going to be able to move fast enough, and TBA just cleaning up the rest after the Bastion falls.
It was a really good investment from TBA. They had a game plan, and then they were able to get the Bastion up and then clean up the rest of the team here.
Yeah, but they gotta manage to push themselves out a little bit here. The payload crawling right now, and the rest of PV coming back.
Right, it feels like they came back really fast.
Yep,
Nice shatter
really
there
nice
to get the Bastion down.
Oh, but the Sim Wall coming up really going to cause some problems here, especially for this Ana, who's not going to be able to heal through it.
You know, yeah, the Sim ult isn't flashy by any means. You're never going to see it as a play of the game, I don't think. But I think it has a lot of value when you can sort of zone out the healing like that. So it's the same for Lucio too. You can't heal through the barrier.
That's insane. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But we're going to see maybe this being the final push here for TBA as they're underneath a minute of time left to go. Bastion setting up camp on the payload, kind of risky considering you might want to take advantage of the high ground, but
TBA is going to have to invest everything here.
Yep.
I don't want to say simultaneously, but probably, they have to capitalize here. They have to push.
Yep. Very nice pick early. They get the Bastion again with the Dragons. They're putting themselves in a really good spot to at least get some serious progress on this, as 3 of Penten and Visirion is down right now, and the full 6 of TBA is standing tall.
Right, and you know, Joe, if you're Penten Visirion, do you play for the overtime, or do you try to regroup and get one more fight on the cart?
It looks like the game plan's going to be for overtime, because as Lucio's doing his little dance on top of the structure, and they're looking to stall. They don't want to deal with a second point capture here. But TBA kind of not giving them an option right now. They're standing strong, they're getting the kills that they need to get, and it's Diva Bomb doing a lot of work, basically nullifying out the sound barrier if it got anyone, really. But Penten and Visirion really trying to...
Well, you know, what they're doing here is they're making them use ults. We just saw the nano, or not the nano, the Death Blossom, and you know, maybe that wasn't exactly necessary there and could have been used later in the fight. But you know, it never hurts to try to bait out some ultimates.
For sure, yeah, and they were able to get a few out of TBA without a doubt.
Right, but TBA has really, you know, really been making some coordinated pushes, and now we're sort of seeing a more traditional comp on the defense here. They kind of abandoned the Symmetra Bastion.
Oh yeah, look at that. They rode it to a pretty good effect, I would say.
I thought so.
And with less than a minute left, there's not going to be a lot of pushes left for TBA to really get this far. They've got basically the whole way left, although they are up 2 currently, and a Shatter getting 2 of them down. The Roadhog in a sticky spot.
Another big anti there. But Sharpshot's really been doing a lot of work on this map. He's been sort of that catalyst on TBA for every major win. He'll either get the pick, he got the Bastion up a few times with the Dragon Strike.
Yeah,
so
honestly.
he's been kind of that starter for the TBA to really let them sort of initiate and capitalize on his picks and damage.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. He's definitely been a difference maker here, and it was a good swap off of the, what was it? I think it was a Brigitte earlier. It wasn't really working. But a good block coming in from Martyr Barter, although they do lose Nihao in a very unfortunate time, because we've got 8 seconds left, half the team's down, and they're not going to really be able to get too much progress on this payload. Simple going to try and stall it out, get a couple extra meters in, but Petticoat Pirate not being in mech's going to have a pretty tough time there by herself.
You want to, honestly, TBA put up a good push considering, you know, where they were those first few fights against the Bastion. You know, it's just like what I was saying on Nepal. It just sort of seems like if they had just a little bit more time, they would have been able to sort of go the distance.
Yeah, very true. And Penten and Visirion also doing some really solid work.
Yeah. Not to be dismissive of the defense, because it was clearly very strong.
Yeah, they killed so much time on both points that they basically capped it in overtime, you'd say.
So I wonder if they go for a kooky offensive strat. Do they go pirate ship? Do you think here?
Ooh, I don't know. The Bastion was very effective on defense, but I think you get more effectiveness from being on the defensive side, especially
Right.
on this map. It's possible. I think they're going to stick with the Reaper and the McCree because it's been doing a lot of work for them, and it showed in the first map.
Ready for battle.
Right. Oh, we are seeing the Bastion here.
Oh yeah, they're gonna try it, I guess, right? Why not?
And we're kind of looking at the same thing here with TBA. I guess, TBA will have that inherent advantage that they can hide behind the sign and all fall in on the Bastion at once. But if they lose the first fight, it'll be tough with a comp like this to sort of get the Bastion off the payload.
Very true, and I'm wondering if they're trying to sniff that out by waiting up here, or if they're just going for an aggressive kind of defense regardless. Because if they can time it right, they
It's
can
got to
utilize
be in the
that
back of
Bastion
their
right away.
minds that the Bastion could be in play here. I feel like if anytime I see a Bastion, the rest of the match has changed for me. I feel like I can always see a Bastion no matter what.
Yeah, if they're willing to do it once, they'll do it again.
Exactly.
I'm curious to see if Eli's going to be able to spot them out so far. No dice, and it looks like TBA setting themselves up for a pretty gnarly engagement as they jump on
Yeah.
him all at
Oh,
once.
huge
Huge
nade.
purple. Oh, wow. This fight's still up for contention, though, as... Nope, never mind. TBA kind of just locking that down despite a really...
Yeah,
nice-
really great way to start. That's what you have to do with a Bastion, right? You just have to fall on him and not give him a single target to choose.
Yep, don't let him get a chance. Don't let him sniff
He
some
can't-
encouragement.
Right, it's hard to just lock onto a target. You can't take down all 6 people when you're right on top of them.
And it forced the swap right away. They're not going to be dealing with their shenanigans anymore, at least for this first push, because they can't get themselves set up properly.
Right.
So curious to see what the next game plan is going to be, as they maybe the hack proving to be really strong, with being right around the corner. But Hephaestus with a really big shatter, getting basically the entire team. And another
It was a nice shield bash there by Sharp Shot.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of deaths coming out. Celery doing a lot of work on this Reaper yet again. It's something that is proving really strong in Nepal, and it's doing a lot here too.
Yeah. Sort of these, if TBA maybe backed off a little bit, they could have had a better chance. Maybe I think they got a little bit aggressive there, and then
Yeah, perhaps not
That-
anticipating this Reaper.
and then that
just
shatter
being
was really
aggressive
kind of
to
what was the nail in the coffin there. But they'll get another attempt here to sort of stall out the payload on this first point.
Yep, we're seeing a super aggressive little speedball coming in from TBA with a huge hack getting
Huge
5 out
EMP.
of 6. Risky Res ends up coming out and connecting. We're gonna have to see what else comes out of here. But Falter throwing in the nades and the heals from a nice safe distance. And
Another
the
really
speed
back and
boost-
forth fight.
Yeah, the speed boost paying off so big for TBA. It's the way the Simple is able to dance around through these dances. Really,
And they have a
doing really good.
huge ult economy going into this next fight.
Yeah, they're gonna be ready. The trance gonna be vital for the Celery Death Blossom.
Interesting swap to the Symmetra here.
Yeah, a lot of quirky picks coming out from Eli. I mean, just in the Symmetra and the Sombra being pretty standard, but without the Pharah, they don't see the need for it at this point.
They're gonna have to really hope that TBA overinvests here, because it's gonna get really tricky if they're smart with their ults to get a strong push.
Also curious with the double main shield, but a teleport shatter coming in. Ultimate's getting extended left and right. Celery trying to get the tail end of that Transcendence, but doesn't really connect with many of the people there. As Caravana is just kind of mumble around, hopefully try to get out if she can. She can, whoops, and yeah.
Yeah,
We're
I
gonna
think
see at least one more fight here.
And we're back on the Bastion.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be something though?
Hey, just like you called it, if they did it once, who knows if
Yeah.
they can do it again.
They still have the rally. It's gonna be a one ult versus one ult fight, so it's definitely anyone's match here, truly.
Yep, and with this Bastion being a wild card here all of a sudden, it might do some extra work that TBA might not be ready for, but they're going
Right.
super aggressive in this tunnel, which might not really favor them right now, as Falter's really got a really nice spot for a perfect nade to just heal up everyone full. Hopefully we
Right
see
now
a
that
call
they
out.
have the essential pick in forcing the diva mech to lose her, or the diva to lose her mech, so maybe they can sort of push this and
Yeah, they've given the
Get the
nano to
first
the
checkpoint here.
Bastion. They're really investing a lot into this Bastion to see if
Well,
they can
yeah,
do some work. They
yeah,
gotta touch
you
the
have
point.
to.
Oh, huge shatter, getting 3 people up on the cliffside, and another Transcendence coming out from Yikes. She's building up that Transcendence.
Huge bomb too.
TBA locking away this
Yeah,
point, locking away
really,
this map.
really clutch ultimates from TBA there.
Yeah, they built it really fast.
Mm-hmm.
The fact they got another Transcendence that quickly was insane.
Yeah, that was actually pretty insane that they were able to charge those ults, and every single one seemed to get value there.
Yeah, and yet another display of these matches being super close. Perhaps that push
Right.
not being anything crazy, but I mean, the defense really showed that, hey, we're evenly matched here. This match series even is going to really go the distance.
Right. Oh, of course, this Bastion play.
Wow, didn't even flinch. Solid Death Blossom's like, yeah, whatever. I've got healers. They're going to keep me up.
Yeah, oh, looks like we had someone disconnect. So might have to take a little break here while they get things sorted.
Yeah, perhaps. I do have a sub in the wings. Not sure if it was just an internet issue or maybe
Right.
a time constraint, but we'll get that sorted as we load into the next map.
So looks like we actually do have a substitute. Jonak of Gold will be taking over on TBA here for. I'm not sure who left here, Joe. Do you remember?
Simple. I had to
Simple, right?
go. So I don't know if Jonak has as nice of a Lucio, but it depends on what roles people are going to end up playing here. Not really sure what the mix-up's going to be.
I remember watching him in the first Rage and Showcase, and I remember he was one of these stronger performers. So I'm excited to see sort of how he's developed since the very beginning of the season.
Yeah, sure.
Especially on one of the greatest maps, Horizon Lunar Colony.
Yeah, fan favorite. The crowd roars for it every time.
I think that I know that the changes have been around for a little while, and I think that they've sort of increased my liking of the map a little bit, but I don't know if it's made a huge difference on me.
Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate the changes. I mean, I guess I heard the feedback and that people weren't really super feeling Horizon, and I like that they were able to modify ever so slightly. At least the first point, I think, made a
Right.
huge difference. And honestly, even the second one gave enough of a high ground like mix up that defense has a little bit more to work with when coming back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna load into our third map here. The series tied 1-1.
And it's going to be important to note here that TBA will be in blue now, and Penten Visirion will be red.
Yep.
Because if I don't tell myself, then I will make that mistake.
Yep. Good eye. Good eye.
Thank you.
All right, so I believe that means that Penton's going to be attacking first. Yeah, red attacks first, I want to say. And indeed they are.
Yes, they are.
So it's going to be them setting the pace this map as compared to TBA setting it on Route 66.
Right. And I guess when you're a Bastion player, every map's a good Bastion map. But I feel like this is one of those maps that you see a fair amount of Bastion on.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bastion works really well with the changes that were made, especially this middle wall on point A that you can hide behind and just fire just hell down from the top side. So curious to see if it gets utilized. It might be kind of tough considering how much of the pseudo goats that TBA has been running so far. Right.
Well, I mean, I feel like what we were talking about before, you have to take advantage of the Reaper at this level of play. McCree's aim may not be there to reliably get the flashbang and the headshot off to force the Wraith. So the Reapers get sort of, I guess, a little bit more free reign down here than they would in a more mechanically skilled Elo.
Yeah, and we're gonna see how I believe it's Penten, Visirion, how they're gonna react since they took out Celery. who was their noted Reaper in the last couple games, and subbed him in for a Genji Squirtle Surge. But we got an
Seems
Ash
right
coming
to
out
me.
into play here with Sharp Shot, which was also briefly displayed on the Nepal.
Right.
So we'll see what kind of work it does here as Eli goes out to scout and see.
Well, these are
where
the
he's
pro
at.
strats here.
All right, information gains, and then we're gonna see how PV is going to react to it. Also sporting themselves a Wrecking Ball as well. Very curious on this.
Yeah, a couple of my favorite characters on this map.
Yeah,
I love watching Wrecking Balls and Sombras, so this should be a fun matchup.
They waited for the cooldown on the Arista shield. Very interesting, very smart eye that they have there. If that was intentional, if not, it still worked out very much to their benefit. As they've got double flanks coming from the backside of the Genji and the
Right. This, you know, I think that the goal of TBA's comp here is to just be, you know, incredibly mobile, incredibly disruptive.
Yeah, just oppress, right? You
Exactly. Confuse. You know, who do you target? Where do you target? You know, you may have the Reinhardt in front of you, but the Wrecking Ball's behind you, the Sombra's to the left of you. It's overwhelming in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you've got so many pixels flying in your face, you don't really know what's going on. And they really capitalize on it. They've been doing that every game so far, and it's really worked out to their advantage when they can themselves coordinate.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and Vicious Shatter coming out from Surfy here. No effect, but they're able to use a couple other ultimates, getting down both supports. There's no more heals left on the side of TBA, and they're just falling left to right. Another huge nade coming out from Falter, and the numbers for TBA just dwindling. Although Sharp Shot does get a support on his way out of the door, so that's going to prove to be super advantageous if they're able to group up and get themselves another kill.
Right.
Switching to the soldier just to stall into point, but gets knocked out immediately. And it seems that TBA just can't get their footing here.
Yeah, it's all about just getting time off the clock. You know you're gonna lose the point. It's just all about taking off as much time as you can. I mean, maybe I spoke too soon.
Yeah, they're able
TBA
to
starts
get
to
some
take it
picks
back
here.
here.
Yeah, very nice. They didn't lose their composure. They were able to get at least a kill every time they came out, it seemed like.
Sharp Shot on that Hanzo has been a real force this match.
Yeah, he's been very strong on that, and hopefully we get to see him do some more. Curious to see if he's going to wait for the grab to come up in order to use the dragons, or if he's going to be able to find himself a little window where he can...
You know, I think he might be able to use it and build up another one before the grab is up.
I wouldn't be surprised, especially if they're coming up in this little choke up here. It's a perfect spot. But another blade coming out. This one not being able to get utilized, unfortunately, though.
Really good reaction there by TBA to kind of stuff out that blade and end it before it even got started.
Yeah.
But they still commit. PV still commits.
Yeah, they're trying here. They're going to see what they can get out of the two Qs that they were able to use. And it looks like not much, as they should be trying to get out. It looks like they are. Tough to say, though. They're still trying to stick around and poke.
Yeah, and I feel like that might have not been the best time to invest those other ults. Maybe just back out and then wait for the Genji. Cut your losses there.
Yeah, or maybe
but there's still plenty of time thanks to that great first push, so they're not really in a position where they have to worry yet.
Yeah, 4 minutes, a bunch of time on the clock, but it
more than 2 ticks.
Yeah,
this is still in their favor by all means.
Absolutely. Could see a huge shatter coming out here. Might be able to turn the tide and might be able to help Nia O'Brien get some sort of value out of this visor. Although they're doing themselves a really good job on the side of TBA, staying out of the sight lines. And it looks like
it's been a lot of trades here.
Yeah, TBA being able to just pick out one by one the people that they're trying to get down. And it seems like they've got themselves on a good spot here, but they're going to commit some more ultimates here as they're not super convinced on their footing here.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those matches where, you know, if you have the ult invested, especially when you're on defense and it's so close to being lost.
Yeah, it's always just a shame when you end a round or if you die and you have your ult and it's like, hey, these respawn times are starting to kick up.
Especially an ultimate that you know could have helped.
Yeah, for sure. And one especially like the nano, something you can build up pretty quickly.
Right, and it looks like speaking of ultimates, it looks like Penten Visirion's gonna have all 6 for this fight here.
This could be it, but TBA is not going to give him a chance. Although the really good sound barrier coming down, not going to be enough as it still knocks down 3 of them. Kind of ambitious play. I mean,
yeah, I don't know if I would have played it there. I would have rather just had TBA invest the ults and then come back with all 6 again. But they only invested the sound barrier. They still have 5.
Yeah,
so this is more than enough to kind of take the point here.
The fact that the Zarya was high charge, I mean, hard to see in the moment, especially when you're grabbed to your team. It's going to contribute a lot more damage and not have that barrier be to full effect. But a huge
EMP.
4 of them. And they're going to try to take advantage of this as the Genji ripping up the DPS in the backline. And it looks like this is going to be
That's all they needed. Yeah, just like what we were saying, you know, they may have used the sound barrier in a way that wasn't advantageous, but just the sheer number here, they were just able to overwhelm the defense.
Yeah, that EMP coming up to be massive as it takes out basically the whole team's ability to do anything, right?
Yeah, just about. That's what makes Sombra so interesting to play, or at least to watch. In my opinion, it's just, you know, she's never going to, you know, get a giant Diva Palm or a big Genji Blade, but a useful EMP is so enabling for the rest of your team.
Yeah, the ability to just nullify a character to just a left click and a right click potentially is insane. And one of probably the strongest thing you can do in this game is just cancel out a character.
Yeah, exactly.
In its entirety. And then when you can follow that up with some coordination with the Genji Blade in this case, it worked out to be exactly what they needed. And although they don't have Celery in their the play.
Yeah. Kudos to TBA though. I think Penten Visirion came in with nearly 7 minutes on point B, and they whittled it down all the way to 220. So definitely not slouching on that second point defense.
Yeah, they had some really big plays on their end as well. I mean, they had some nice shatters. They had a lot of ultimates that, even if they didn't get kills, they were able to maintain their point presence and just make sure they weren't going to get bullied off too fast.
Right. Looks like we're going to be going back to the Bastion strat here. This time Eli taking up the mantle as the team's Bastion.
Yeah, and then coupling that with the Junkrat, perhaps keeping the Bastion a little extra safe if you want to put a trap around him or on him, just to make sure that if he gets jumped on, he's got at least one less person to have to worry about. But we're going to see. We see.
Looks like we're going full dive here.
Yeah, all right.
Which I think, you know, as awful as it feels to play Winston into a Bastion, it's almost necessary to kind of disrupt that bunker comp.
As long as you can just follow the Winston in with the Matrix and keep him safe for at least a couple seconds while the rest of your DPS shows up and wipes out that Bastion. Yeah.
This is one of those things that, you know, it's sort of a fallacy of the sunken cost. You know, they can't waste too much time with dives that aren't being coordinated well. So if it's not working, they're gonna have to change some things.
Yep. And Mihao trying to get a quick pick on the Zen to no avail, but they do go in all together at once. I don't think the Matrix was really available for that. They kind of all just got melted for the jump. But the thought was there. They had the coordination to just go in on one target together.
Right. You know, it's very clear that they know what they want to do. It's just a matter of being able to get it done. So, you know, it's gonna have to be sort of the perfect storm of sustained damage mitigation and then, you know, target isolation.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but if they can somehow get the Sombra in there to hack the Bastion, that way he's not stuck in turret form, it could pay off huge. But he's also very close to his EMP, and that could get all 6 of them if he plants it right.
And that's probably what they're banking on. You know,
gonna do it right now, and it gets 5 of the 6.
This is something they can still take.
Yep, it's trades going left and right, but it seems like the advantage is here on the side of TBA.
TBA for sure.
Yep.
You know, it's probably going to be another close fight here, because I believe Penten Visirion will get a couple people back.
Yeah, curious to see what Hephaestus does here as a solo Mercy. Oh, pops the Vow to try to be the hero.
Oh.
But Sharp Shot's having none of it, along with Yikes peppering in some damage.
Looks like they're going to try a defense here.
No, they shouldn't. I don't know. They don't have the time, but I mean, Surfy gets in, and they've got the Bastion.
They really want to hold this.
Yeah, they might be able to if the Bash can find his way on there, but there was no one alive to contest point. So they committed a lot to something that they might be regretting now that they might have some staggers.
For sure, because now we're also waiting on respawn timers, so that Bastion's not gonna have time to set up.
And it might not
like
even
you
be
would have
worth it.
liked.
Yep, they swapped to the nade, very smart here, very good swap. The Genji going in with a Nano Blade and a Diva Bomb to be a distraction, as it seems like he's just going to slice through a bunch of the team being distracted by that bomb. Petticoat Pyro putting that Diva Bomb in a really nice place to get the team to turn around and not look at the point.
So it was kind of a tale of two pushes in a way. You know, I don't want to say that we saw TBA struggle per se on point A, but you know, they did face some obstacles and they were able to sort of fast cap point B, whereas, you know, Penten Visirion, it was the exact opposite.
Yeah, right? Very curious how that works out, but you know, it's the second cap that matters more.
Exactly.
And 5 minutes left, it's a huge chunk of change. Although 220 is nothing to sneeze at. They
Right, you can make some things happen with 220.
Especially with the way their first push went, getting that first cap, it's gonna really, if they can pull that momentum into something that they can work with on that second point a little bit faster this time, they could still end up with some time left.
Right, and I think, you know, they really got to sort of be kicking themselves about trying to hold that point A there. You know, I feel like a broken record saying, you know, if they just had a little bit more time, you know, if they had another sort of 8-10 seconds on the timer until it was capped, maybe they could have pulled something off. I think it was just too rushed.
Yeah, curious about that last second commit on the side of Penten Visirion. If that was really their downfall, or if it was just.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Tough to say because, well, I mean, we can't.
You could have used that time to set up a whole defense.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if they were going to try to stick with that Bastion, you could have set them up on the high ground somewhere.
Exactly, and you would have had the ult.
But, you know, hindsight 2020, we're going to move on to the third round here.
Always easier to have an opinion when you're watching than when you're playing.
And, you know, there's a bunch of stuff going on. But we're going to see. We got the Sombra out on the scouting job again. They've got the Reaper and Nihao instead of the Sombra. So we're going to see what we got going here. They're going to try to hustle the point, but they already lose one of their supports. And Sharpshot gets another support. They're going to have no heals on point for this. So they're going to either want to get out or die.
Yeah, get out or die.
Oh, man. Words to live by. I don't know. But they're going to still try to stick around and poke as they start their retreat. Unfortunately, Caravana losing the mech is going to actually put a huge damper on this push because they've only got a minute 30 left, which might surmise to maybe 2 good pushes. But curious to see. We're seeing TBA kind of fall back a little bit to make sure that they can stay groups. And Squirtle Surge getting staggered. Not great.
Yeah, you know, I think that they should have gone in as a full 6. Maybe had that Diva reset, whether swapping champions or jumping off the edge of the map. I think it was just sort of, you know, kind of doomed to fail from the beginning if you're not going in as a full 6 here.
Yeah, but they've gotten their own Widow out to see if they can contest Sharpshot here because he's been doing some good work. Getting those supports out early is a huge detriment right now to Penten. Having a tough time, but eyes are up. It's going to be even harder as we near down to the 30-second mark. They're going to have really only one push left. This might be the final shot. We got to see what kind of trouble they can get into here as the Widow v. Whittle is fully engaged. Squirtle going down early.
Yeah, and you wanna know that's a big pick. But Eli's able to come back and get the Widow off TBA side as well.
Yep, huge sleep, huge hack. Getting the whole team. We gotta see if they're able to capitalize that fast because they gotta.
Yeah, they must.
Right now. They're doing a lot of jumping around. Nihao getting the ult off. Gotta stay on the point. So far, so good on the side of PV, but Jonah coming in with the sound
really
barrier.
back and forth here.
Yeah, the sound barrier proving to be really strong
Big
right
nade.
now. Yep, and numbers dwindling on the side of Penten. We gotta see if they're able to get any last second picks. Squirtle maybe getting a nice headshot coming in last second. But it's just
looks like TBA is taking this one back.
Yeah, the numbers are just going back and forth right now. And a huge shatter that's going to really clean up and solidify this cap here, or the hold I should say, as it's really just the supports left in Surfy. And the damage isn't really going to be there as the rest of TBA is still kind of online. Down Bear giving them another...
This is a pretty crazy long fight.
Yeah, and they've got at least a tick here, so something to work with, but if they get off the point for longer than a second, this timer's going to...
Right, that's super important.
We gotta see if we got a kill coming in.
They're starting to get some kills. Eli's starting to...
Wait, it's not over. This long fight is not yet finished.
Oh my god.
As Eli's just ripping people apart on the Tracer, and they're
gonna have
to cap it. Wow.
Wow. Incredible. They're gonna have to start talking about what they want to do, because they're gonna have 30 seconds here to try to get this point B. I feel like you want at least more than one tick, so you at least, you know...
Yeah, they've only got one chance at this, and Sharp Shot switches off the Widow onto the Hanzo, which has been working really nice for him, and I think you can get a lot more instant favor coming in from this Hanzo. A lot more damage.
Kind of a little bit more of an RNG too that you can sort of ride.
Yeah, and what we're going to see as the Nano goes onto the Diva, a little damage reduction, a little extra speed and damage, and we got the hustle going in from...
Another Diva bomb.
Oh, damn.
Oh, Nihao Brian's able to take out 3 there. And it looks like things are starting to go the way of TBA. Starting to clean up. Just the Genji left on point. Then TBA is able to take this one, and fortunately Penten and Visirion, for themselves at least, not able to get that tick. But it was a you know, good effort considering the time that they had on the clock. And what an incredible last fight there for on point A. It looks like actually telrek got disconnected, so you're stuck with me for the the duration of this match. I'll do my best to cover the play-by-play and the analysis here. So one thing I found very interesting in the... Actually looks like telrek's gonna hop back in here with us.
Yep, sorry about that. I don't really know what happened there. But, you know,
you got so overwhelmed by that last fight, you kicked your internet connection out.
I'm sweating. I don't know. I'm not even playing and I'm sweating.
Well, it's not the only time you sweat, so.
Oh, pause for me? I'll get you. You didn't have to. It's really sweet.
So.
All right, so give me a little quick wrap up on what happened on that last push there. Was PB able to cap?
No, unfortunately, they were not. They, like we said, they only had the 30 seconds to really make that full push, so wasn't a lot of time to work with, not a lot of ults up for them. They tried to, you know, work with what they had, but it just unfortunately wasn't enough, and it was sort of a quick cleanup for TBA. So if you're TBA here, you have 5 minutes on the clock. How are you feeling?
I'm in the driver's seat, right? I've got a lot that I can work with, whether it's kooky composition. I'm not saying it is with the Sombra, but like you've got a little time that you can kind of gamble here. And
right.
If the first push fails, you know, chin stays high, you know, the shoulders stay square, you're gonna be all right because you got a lot of time on the clock.
And you know, if I'm Penten Visirion, my goal here, maybe not hold the first point, but take off as much time as you absolutely can.
Yeah, you're gonna want to stall as much as possible, and I think maybe save the ults for more on the second side of the push than the first side.
Right.
Whereas, oh yeah, quick pick on Nihao is gonna be exactly what they're looking for, right? They want to be able to stall that as much as they can, and getting a pick early is exactly what they need.
That gets them, what, another sort of 15-20 seconds here to just keep whittling off the clock. And I guess sort of the downfall of this composition is you can't really capitalize on picks like that. You know, maybe in other compositions you get a quick pick, you fall in on the team and get the ult charge from that.
But it's also been a minute and we haven't even seen a team fight yet, so
true.
He's feeling really good right now. Nihao almost going down again, and he's down again. I don't know. I mean, 5 minutes is a lot to play with, but you're also kind of accomplishing nothing.
Right.
Not even getting
they're definitely, you know, they're definitely playing for that EMP.
Yes.
At least that's my take here, and they picked the Winston, so it looks like a full team's gonna go back and reset here.
Yeah, I think they're doing some hero swaps here because they're not liking the thought process, which is fine. I mean, this is exactly what you want to do, right?
Right, maybe if you just had to get the tick on point A, you commit to this and you just farm the MP. But they have a lot more work that they have to do, and they need the time bank for it.
And this is the exact composition I was expecting when we first launched on this attack, because it's been really strong for them, and this is exactly what you want to counter.
Right.
But not going for him is very curious, because he's just going to sit up there, and you got no one that can go after him.
And making this push without the Zenyatta maybe a fool's errand here. Maybe they'll be able to capitalize, but the damage orb, especially on the Bastion, is something I feel like you really want.
Yeah, you can see the Reaper shooting up towards the Bastion. I mean, you can get some damage, but I mean, you're not really taking advantage of your range here.
And the rare Diva remech kill.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh,
so we're gonna see a TBA sort of regroup and come at this as 6, which is the most important thing I think you can do.
They're gonna want to go up the stairs because hopefully they learned a lesson on ignoring the high ground from Bastion.
Yeah, they're definitely gearing up for close quarters, sort of that death volley style. It's just about closing the distance. That's what's so hard.
Yep, and they're going into space. Oh, that's
That might be unfortunate.
Clever to just get them to think otherwise about what exactly their intentions are.
And they wait out the Bastion ultimate. Does that come back to bite them here?
I mean, the Bastion ult can be strong, but at the same time, I mean, I think Bastion does a lot more on his turret form.
Right.
Got a lot coming out here, and a lot of damage getting done as they gave the Bastion enough time to sit back and reset into a more comfortable position.
Yeah. It was a big investment, though, on the side of the defense. Was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ultimates there? Really only going to have the Lucio one coming up. You know, whereas on the side of TBA, we're going to be seeing probably all 6 at some point during this fight.
Yeah, but we got ourselves a little pause here, a little break in the action. After what, 3.5 minutes passed?
Yeah, I've been impressed with Penten Visirion's hold here. You know, sort of going back to their roots, running some more unconventional comps here, and it is really tricky to sort of coordinate because it's not something you tend to practice against.
Yeah, especially the Bastion and the symmetric combo. Something is that you don't really see often.
Right,
and it's working.
Right, and that's what makes it feel worse if you're on the attack. Right, because you know no one plays these heroes. Everyone says they're trash, and then it's working against you. So it's just, you know, it's demoralizing more than anything.
Yeah, it's rough, but you know, still a minute 30 left.
Right, and they will have the ultimate advantage, and they seem to have the right idea of staying together and sort of deathballing up and getting into that Bastion's face. We know they can do it. We saw them do it on Route 66. So they just sort of need to find that angle here.
Yeah, they just got to do things a bit faster. Like the space move was brilliant. It just worked out super in their favor, but they also waited out there a pretty long time.
Right. And you know, this is the fight they need to take here. If they lose this one, they're going to be looking at a similar situation that we saw last round.
Yeah, and they got to go, but so many of them are so low. Yikes, getting down to maybe 50 health, but still surviving. And they choose to go out into space again, wasting precious, valuable time off the clock right now. I'm not sure what.
Well, surely they have a plan. You know, they're doing this for a reason that is not obvious to me. But they're going to have all of their ultimates, and then we'll see what they're able to do with them.
Oh, leading with the Diva mech, very smart. The Matrix proving out to be pretty big. If they can get this Bastion, huge shatter. Gets the Bastion and gets the rest of the team clean up with this Blossom, not actually killing anyone, putting in huge damage. And I think this is TBA's fight to lose, honestly. They've got numbers, they've got positioning, and they've got ults that they were able to really expunge all of into this fight.
Right, and you know what? They might have used all of their ults, but they've made decent progress on getting them back. You know, it's going to take sort of an extraordinary effort here, I think, to be able to sort of snowball this, especially walking in on a Bastion ult. And a Moira.
Will be interesting, but they swap out the tanks on the side of Penten, maybe to try to even pocket the Bastion even more with the Zarya bubble, and with a Orion shield. But they've got one push. It's either win or tie. So maybe not the worst spot to be in, but you want that W, right? You want to
Right. Oh, for sure, for sure.
and they've got their opportunity here.
You know, they're what are they, third in the standings? I feel
They're
like
up there, yeah.
yeah, I feel like
They're
you.
actually
This
second
is where
TBA.
you have to make that statement.
Yeah, here it is. 10 seconds left. They might not even get to point on time. I'm sure they will, but like they're cutting it so close.
Right, right.
They're trying to get to that bastion.
Yeah,
They don't want nothing to do with
right,
it. But are they going to
that's
C9? They're not touching. They're not touching. And it's over.
Oh my
no.
goodness. They
No,
were
it's-
so tunnel visioned on getting the bastion out of
Oh,
turret form that they
no.
missed the point entirely.
Oh, I was so worried. And oh, that's so unfortunate. I mean, they had the plan.
Wow.
They wanted to get that bastion. But someone's got to be mindful of the clock. You got to know what
Right,
exactly
exactly.
is the point,
Exactly.
right? Your win condition is to get progression, not bastion. But, you know, draw's not the worst.
Wow.
You didn't lose. So you're not feeling terrible, but you're feeling a little silly.
This really has been a seesaw match. You know, one team seems to be dominating, and then it gets close again, and then the other team starts to dominate. So this has been going extraordinary well, I feel.
Yeah. The standings would not have really hinted at such a close
Right.
game, but like I don't think it could have been any closer in any of these matches.
No, and it's been really fun to watch, and sort of seeing the coordination, on the side of TBA against these otherwise frustrating heroes. And I want to give a big shout out to I think it was Eli on the Symmetra. He had the Simmel in back-to-back fights. I feel like quick charge time on Symmetra. I feel like I never get the ultimate when I play her.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe it was Eli on the Bastion, so I want to
right.
say it was Squirtle on the.
Oh,
on the
Squirtle. You're right. You're right.
But either way, I mean, these kooky characters are working out to Penten Visirion's favor. And like you said, it's not really something that you game plan for, right? Like you're
Right.
more maybe prepared for the 3-3 or maybe dive or double snipers, but Bastion throwing in a curveball for this team, and
Right.
I don't know.
But now you know. Now you're TBA. You're talking with your coach. You know that this is what they're seeming to want to do. So what do you say to this team that maybe has been struggling against a Symmetra and a Bastion?
Yep, and I think with our next map being Blizzard World, it's going to also provide some spots for Bastion to come out and play again.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Especially on
Yeah,
that
this
point of
is-
defense.
Right. Or even on the attack after they cap the
Oh,
saying
yeah.
if they cap point A, you can sort of do another pirate ship there.
That's true. But I don't know. I feel like especially for the second point, there's a lot of high ground that can kind of collapse on the Bastion. It might not work. I mean, it might still work. Who really knows?
Right. Blizzard World actually has started to grow on me. When it first came out, I really did not enjoy it. But now, watching it more and playing on it more, I've really sort of grown to appreciate how diverse it is, in a way. So hopefully that leads us to see a bunch of different strategies and comps and playmaking ability.
I was always a fan, just at least for the nostalgia's sake. Really enjoyed all the feel goods, all the music.
Sort of that
you could see.
soundtrack, that they play in the back.
Yeah, it's always really nice. But I mean, we'll see. I don't know what they're gonna come up with here, but I'm very curious to see how it goes. This could be the deciding factor. I guess in theory, it could still end up in a tie.
Well, we're sitting at
super unlikely,
1-1.
but-
Yeah.
And whoever wins this is going to be the victor in this series. There's almost zero possibility for Game 5. So we're gonna hop into it in a quick moment, and we're gonna see what we get.
The way this match has been going, and the fact that you said what you just said, I would not be surprised at all if this match went to map 5.
What is our condition for going to map 5 though? They zero progression.
Neither team takes point A.
0% on point A, I think, right?
Mhm.
Crazy. I mean, I don't know. I guess it could happen, but I'm sure that's not gonna. And I think this might be a map that TBA particularly excels on, just because the death ball-ish type thing really works in favor.
Right. And it's easy for teams to sort of stay together. They're on a ton of sight lines, especially on point A. There are a bunch of different sort of routes and flanking options an entire team could take.
Yep, absolutely. And we get the pleasure of seeing them attack first. So we're gonna see what they're gonna come up with, and we'll get to see if we get another Bastion, as Settler has tagged in again in the spot of Eli. So perhaps they're gonna go for something similar. Maybe even a Torb, to be honest, because I think Torb is actually pretty effective on this first point.
Yeah, you know, if you like to throw out sort of that cheese, a Torb may be good. I personally feel that, you know, and I'm probably 100% wrong in saying this, but I'm
Oh
going to
boy,
say it
here we go.
anyway.
Let me
I
record
feel like
this
maybe
times
the
two.
Bastion has run its course. You know, the team,
Oh, on you.
you know, you sort of, you know, part of the Bastion is that element of surprise, and you know, the fact that, you know, the team necessarily hasn't played against a Bastion in a bit. Oh, well, they're lining up with the Bastion, but I feel like, you
Of
know,
course.
after a
If it ain't
certain
broke, don't
amount,
fix it.
sure, that's
Attackers
another good
incoming
point.
in 30 seconds.
Yeah, like you
But
said, I mean, a lot of it is in the surprise, right? But now they've had this will be the third map that they face the Bastion, and I think they're coming.
you have to be ready for it here.
Yeah, they're
100%.
learning how to approach this Bastion. What's going to break it? What's going to be what we need to dictate our win condition?
Right,
Theirs is the
exactly. And
Bastion, right?
that's sort of what I was getting at here, is that like you know how the Bastion on this team likes to operate. You know what they like to do. And I don't want to say it's a one-dimensional comp, but it's fairly straightforward in what the goal is, right?
Yeah. They're gonna show their hand early as they take up this aggressive, I want to say, positioning. So now they know. I mean, as soon as they walked up there, they're like, all right, Bastion guys, we're gonna go around. We're gonna try to take as much natural cover as we can,
Right, exactly.
and maybe just bypass him. Oh, the Winston
Oh,
gets
you gotta-
fielded. So he's going nowhere. He's a fish out of water at that point. But
That was a
they're
really good Arisa pull by Surfy there. He kind of canceled 2 or 3 mobilities,
yeah, that was huge.
and then you just pop the bubble and get a pick.
Yep. So it's going to be up to them if they're going to want to try again at the whole let's just run past them kind of thing, or if they're going to try to commit to something where they jump them, right? And it's going to be tough because the Ana in Falter has a really nice spot to kind of just like sit back a bit and just nade and heal, right? You're going to be
Right.
sitting in a structure and not worry too much. And you got the res and face calm if it's needed. We're gonna have to see what their approach is here. The yoke comes out, gets 4 of them. Martyr Barter kind of getting held up a little, but they're trying anyway. They're gonna see what they can get in here, and it looks like they're just gonna keep getting melted not only by the Bastion but the Symmetra of the turrets.
You know, it's, you know, I've never really, I guess, appreciated how much the Arisa halt could be, you know, that sort of disruptive potential. You know, I always knew it was good for sort of manipulating your enemy's position, but seeing it used to sort of disrupt any sort of a push is I think, really strong play.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the dive is working out. I think they're gonna give it at least one more go. I'm not really sure, but the fact that you just kind of get to ignore the Symmetra turrets is really debilitating, and they just keep getting blown up every single time they jump on.
Right. You know, they have to come back with something new here. Whether it's a new comp, a new strategy, they can't go in and sit right again, because it's just proving to not want to cooperate.
Yep, and Celery spy checking because they know that's Sombra is getting probably pretty close to the MP rate, and that's really their only option at this point.
They've fully committed to that as their win condition.
Oh man, another early pick is gonna just debilitate this TBA.
You know, and at what point? I mean, obviously you're so far committed to having the EMP, but at what point? Yeah, exactly. You've sort of limited yourself here, because, you know, even if they do get point A, there's going to be
more spy
a
checking.
large chunk of time that's removed from this clock.
Well, this is it. This is going to have to be it. Nihao in position and to no effect. Oh, that's so rough. They're all super low. The blade doing some good work, but the shields just splitting the Bastion in half, making it super difficult to really get any damage on them.
Right.
Oh, almost snuck in a tick though. Super close to getting themselves at least some sort of win condition, but at this point, I don't know. Tough to say.
30 seconds.
It's.
I don't know. You know,
Things are looking dire here.
Like, for sure. And they're doing some last second swaps.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
I think this is
You
maybe...
have to give it the college try here.
Yeah, they got to get on point immediately though. They've got 10 seconds. They've got one ult.
They've got barrier, so they're not working with nothing.
The Reinhardt shield's gonna drop. He's gonna die so fast, but they get on point. They at least force
Gotta pop it.
overtime, and they get a tick. They've got something to work with here as they're going to try to assert themselves on point. Surfer getting super low, but the Ana able to heal him up with a nice nade, getting both tanks and limiting the opposing tank to just no health with the purple. Although they're still putting in some work here on the side of TBA,
Yeah.
getting the healers down. Base camp getting super low, yikes all over. And then so far, nothing really doing, but they need to stay on point. Bastion's still a problem. And it looks like they might actually
Brian.
make a gap here.
This has just been something.
Wow.
Now, if you
Wow.
asked me after that EMP if TBA was going to take point A, I would have bet my house on on them not taking point A. What an absolute incredible Hail Mary that worked out for TBA in this particular instance.
Absolutely insane. And I'm not sure if it could have been read by their swaps, but perhaps they might have wanted to just retreat the Bastion onto point, knowing that they had to go to point, right?
Right, right.
The fact that he stayed there kind of limited his effectiveness since he had to reset himself and not be in spirit form. But, you know, they still killed off the entirety of that first point A push time.
Mm-hmm.
They've got only 2 minutes left, and they've got the Bastion back at home behind the shields with the healers. So we're gonna have to see how they maneuver themselves through the StarCraft portion of this map as they take home next to the pylon, and the cart slowly but surely getting left behind.
Yeah, and I think that sort of Penten Visirion's sort of given up the farm here.
Huge
It
pick
just
on
seems like they're losing one person after the other, and sort of oh, as I speak, they're able to sort of come back and get the necessary picks themselves.
Oh, bold shatter here as it's really just the Rhine and the other healer in Moira. So you can't really do much with that shatter, but you know,
Right.
able to get a lot in it. It's just unfortunate they weren't able to capitalize on it since a lot of the people were still coming from respawn. But we'll see. They've dropped down the Bastion. I guess they're kind of hoping that he gets lost in the shrubbery over there in the corner, perhaps. But the shield kind of gives him away.
Well, they also know that they're gonna have to play cart. Yeah, TBA is gonna have to touch the cart. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
for sure. But this is definitely TBA favored right now because they have the advantage of just being able to jump down onto the Bastion, perhaps even getting a cheeky charge if they're feeling it. But they're seeming to chase after the healers first. Not the worst idea, especially when the Bastion doesn't have the sight lines. But the damage boosted tank
We don't have
could prove
barrier yet.
fatal. Oh, huge, 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 huge. This is when they have to be able to get this team wipe. As there's
right.
only
Yeah,
10
this
seconds
is
left. Are they going to
this
be
is their moment
leaving
here.
cart behind here though, as we've seen before, or are they going to be able to touch it? It looks like okay. Whew. Janak able to be mindful of the fact that there is an objective. It's not just a free-for-all brawl. And they're moving themselves up slowly but surely, forcing this swap off the Bastion.
Oh,
Getting
another
a
big shatter.
pick. Yeah, big shatter on the healer. Getting the Ana out of play, but Celery on the Reaper now.
It's another back
threat.
and forth.
Another huge threat on this Reaper. And Squirtle being able to just take the flank and just pick off TBA one by one from the backside. We have going for the Hail Mary, not being able to connect with anybody in particular.
Not that time, no. But Jonak of Gold still still hanging out.
Wow, having himself a good time.
Огонь по готовности.
Alright, honestly,
You know,
not so bad. They rallied.
Exactly.
Made some progress.
Considering the struggle that they were having on point A, you have to be proud of the distance you're able to achieve there.
Yeah, that Bastion's a tough nut to crack sometimes. And proving to be a huge nuisance on point A. But Bastion not being a super effective attack character, at least on this map, perhaps I'll be proven wrong. I'd be wildly impressed if they managed to make it work, but probably gonna stick with the Reaper here in Celery as that's been doing a lot of work for them.
Right, and it's, you know, I honestly couldn't even guess and tell you. I'm sure that that's what they're going to run in terms of their comp.
They'll spite you.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll see here what we're gonna be spectating as.
What do you prepare for? Do you think as TBA? Do you think that they dare run the Bastion on attack?
There's no
Do you
way.
somehow prepare
I
in case
don't
that they
think you
may?
really. I don't think you really entertain that idea, to be honest, because I don't know. It just seems one super wildly unlikely, and two, I guess you give yourself some assurance if you play this Pharaoh right, because you have some structures you can hide behind.
Sure.
And it also gives you the double side of the coin, where it's also super effective against the Reaper if they pull that out.
Right.
And really, it's been the big curveball is making that Bastion work. And I think the Symmetra honestly goes a long way in making it work, because you so tunnel on the Bastion, you forget about the turrets.
Right. Right.
And just so much passive
And
damage.
they do a lot more damage than you'd think they would.
Yep. And they're a
Same
little
thing
harder
with
to get
her
rid of
orbs.
than you think. Yeah, for sure. But we're gonna lock in here without a Bastion. They're going to take themselves the high grounds with this Lucio speed. Staying together, super smart, super effective. They're gonna try to see what they can get, but they're getting red, so TBA
Looks like they're doing
ready
a
for this
full
attack.
rotation here.
Yep, we're gathering themselves back up, making sure everyone's topped off, and they're gonna go in with the speed boost, seeing who they can get out first. So far, not much doing, although the Reaper getting himself a couple of shots in there. Sharp Shot getting his pot shots in as well. Getting Celery out early. Huge pick that you want to aim for. And it
Right.
looks like the Pharaoh really coming in to favor here, but Penten.
Well, they managed to get a
getting
tick in a
tick.
losing fight, so you can't be too upset with that.
Yeah, and it took them less than a minute to do. So early progress, not so bad. Get some ult charge builds, and now you know what you're dealing with, right? You saw
Right.
what their game plan was. They're looking to stay together in this tight knit ball. They're looking to take you by surprise. So as long as you guys stay mobile and focus
And we see the
targets-
swap over to the Widow by Squirtle Surge.
Ooh, they've had
I think
enough
that's
of
the
this
right call. I think that's the right call. Maybe
Especially
if
for
they
Winston's dive, yeah, that Winston's a nuisance for sure.
and
they-
there's no real good nano target or blade target anyway on the side of TBA.
Not really. Everyone's pretty loosey goosey at that point. Sharp Shot trying to dislodge them with the shot, but no dice as he misses. And Martyr Bard getting a little aggressive, perhaps. No, he's got the primal in the pocket, so he's feeling alright.
Right. He's got his safety net.
Yeah, and we're gonna see Martyr Bard actually pop that primal to see what kind of effects he can get in dislodging this team, as Surfy's kind of all over the place, just bouncing around left and right, perhaps getting himself nice a push off the map. Those always feel so good as Winston.
Right. Oh yeah. So you don't get much more excitement out of the ultimate than that.
For sure. And we're gonna end up seeing them reset yet again. Squirtle getting tagged pretty low. So far not being able to find his Pharah shot, but in doing so you gotta make sure you are able to deny the res if at all possible.
Right. And this is tough in a situation where the opposite team is running dive.
Yeah, exactly.
You're never going to feel comfortable enough to sort of take that position and take the shot on the Pharah.
But they're going around town yet again. Face Calm not having the speed boost enhancement up at the moment. Sharp Shot getting 2, 3 of Penten Visirion down. Wow, nice. Although Sharp Shot does trade his life for it, but there's the res. Oh, almost getting the pick also, but to no avail. As they're gonna have to go back one more time.
So we're probably looking at the last real fight here.
A lot of ultimates on both sides too.
And I think that whoever manages them the best is going to end up winning.
Yep, we've got 2 sound barriers ready to play along with 2 blossoms, so it's going to really come down to who can really absorb that damage better or just find a better spot for it, as they're both looking for it. They both know that they have
Огонь
it.
по готовности.
Grab goes out, gets both.
Oh, big grab.
And the Diva Bomb coming out, at least getting 1. Kind of evening up the fight here, but Nihao also ripping his as well, getting the tank. And it looks like
Even fight.
TBA might be getting this kind of locked away. But yeah, the numbers on the side of TBA right now, it doesn't look like there's too much life left on the side of Penten Visirion. Sharp Shot down to 1, almost getting killed. But it looks like no dice, as Celery is going to try to get that last second touch. Is able to extend overtime, but no more recall, no more dashes. You're going to have a tough time, and it looks like that's going to be the series.
Wow. You know,
Crazy.
really crazy considering, um, you know, where would we be right now if Horizon turned out differently?
Very true. Horizon being probably the closest match, right?
Hmm.
Without a doubt, actually, the closest match. And look at that, the Sentry is just going nuts.
Right.
So much damage. So much damage.
That's, you know, we saw some really, really strong defenses through this whole match, and I feel like I say this every time I cast, but I think it's just a trait that kind of runs through minors, is that this was a really close match. And as we know, it could have gone either way for both teams. It could have been a 4-0, or it could have been, you know, in this case, a 2-1. Or even,
Yeah.
it could have even been a 3-2, and then I wouldn't have been surprised given what we saw tonight.
Yeah, and Penten Visirion putting up a heck of a fight. Honestly, the defense on every map was really tight, really well coordinated. Just the attack not getting them there on that last push, unfortunately.
If you had to pick one player from each team.
Oh man,
Yes.
put me on the spot, huh? I mean, it's tough to say because I feel like for Penten, the Bastions were just highlights.
Right.
But if I had to pick a player, I think Falter really came through on the side of Penten. The nanos, the nades, whether they're anti or heal amplifying, always super on point. And then on TBA, I'd probably have to give it to Sharpshot. I think a lot of the characters he played had a lot of influence in
Right.
every match.
You know,
What
if
about
I
you?
had to choose, I would have to pick, you know, just to sort of change it up, I would say
Please.
Surfy from Penten. I think that he had, again, maybe, you know, tanks aren't the most flashy role in the game, but I think he contributed a lot in sort of enabling his team to have key picks and put them in positions to win big fights. On the side of TBA, I would, you know, I'd probably have to also say Sharpshot. I think that he had a lot of sort of momentum changing and fight changing and sort of or I guess, you know, specific map changing fights that sort of gave the momentum to his team and allowed them to make big plays and big pushes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, great showing from both teams. I don't think there was really any
Right.
one super standout, but I think everyone kind of really they played their roles all very well, I think, very efficiently. And you can tell that these guys have played at least outside of tournament together
Hmm.
because the coordination was there on both sides. And it's really nice to see, really exciting stuff.
No, and it's, I guess, you know, amateur tournaments like this sort of are nice because, you know, you never know what you're gonna see, and you're never gonna you'll never know which hero or which player will be spotlighted.
I
So
did
it's
not expect a Bastion or a
right,
Symmetra
exactly.
or both tonight, and we saw it on every map.
Hmm.
Absolutely insanity. And it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun casting.
Yeah, it was. We should do it again sometime. And thank you again to Nick doing, or sorry, Direboyd doing the camera work. And awesome work as always. Um, that about does it here.
Yeah, thanks for
You
tuning
able?
in. Thanks for watching. I'm excited to
Yeah,
do another one, man. For
yeah,
sure.
for sure. We'll have to get the sweat rags for you.
I gotta take a walk outside. All right, everyone. Catch you next time on the next match that we have on Owlet Tournament. Have a good night.